Chapter 36 was a short one. 3 paragraphs. Look how it ended up. All the New Yorkers thought that this was a bomb that was going to come and land in another city. They're running for the subways, which I think you can see on this page. Terrified of what's going to happen. But no, they don't know. And this plane went right through the strings, and the peach ended up on the spike at the top of the Empire State Building. This brings us to chapter 37. It was really an amazing sight. And in 2 or 3 minutes, as soon as the people below realized that this now couldn't possibly be a bomb, they came pouring out of the shelters and the subways to gape at the marvel. The streets for half a mile around the building were jammed with men and women, and when the word spread that there were actually living things moving around on the top of the great round ball, then everyone went wild with excitement. "It's a flying saucer!" they shouted. "They're from outer space! They are men from Mars, or maybe they came from the moon." And a man who had a pair of binoculars to his eyes said, "They look pretty peculiar to me, I'll tell you that." Police cars and fire engines came screaming in from all over the city and pulled up outside the Empire State Building. 200 firemen and 600 policemen swarmed into the building and went up in the elevators as high as they could go. Then they poured out onto the observation room, which is the place where tourists stand. I've been there, just at the bottom of the big spike. All the policemen were holding their guns at the ready, with their fingers on the triggers, and the firemen were clutching their hatchets. But from where they stood, almost directly underneath the peach, they couldn't actually see the travelers up on top. "Ahoy there!" shouted the chief of police. "Come out and show yourselves!" Suddenly, the great brown head of the centipede appeared. They should send James first, not the centipede. Suddenly, the great brown head of the centipede appeared over the side of the peach. His black eyes, as large and round as 2 marbles, glared down at the policemen and the firemen below. Then his monstrous, ugly face broke into a wide grin. The policemen and the firemen all started shouting at once. "Look out!" they cried. "It's a dragon!" "It's not a dragon, it's a wampus!" "It's a gorgon!" "It's a sea serpent!" "It's a proc!" "It's a manicore!" 3 firemen and 5 policemen fainted and had to be carried away. "It's a snozwanger!" cried, that sounds like the BFG talking, cried the chief of police. "It's a wang doodle!" yelled the head of the fire department. I'm surprised they don't fire on him, to be honest, American police. The centipede kept on grinning. He seemed to be enjoying enormously the commotion that he was causing. "Now see here," shouted the chief of police, cupping his hands to his mouth. "You listen to me. I want you to tell me exactly where you've come from." "We've come from thousands of miles away," the centipede shouted back, grinning more broadly than ever and showing his brown teeth. "There you are," cried the chief of police. "I told you they came from Mars." "I guess you're right," said the head of the fire department. They kind of remind me of the head of the Army and the head of the Air Force in BFG. At this point, the old green grasshopper poked up his huge green head over the side of the peach alongside the centipedes. 6 more big, strong men fainted when they saw him. "That one's an oink!" screamed the head of the fire department. "I just know it's an oink!" "Or a cockatrice!" yelled the chief of police. I think the BFG uses that word. "Stand back, man! It may jump down on us at any moment." "What on earth are you talking about?" the old green grasshopper said to the centipede. "Search me," the centipede answered. "But they seem to be in an awful stew about something." And here's what I mean. They look, not doing their best. Then, Miss Spider's large, black, murderous-looking head, which to a stranger was probably the most terrifying of all, appeared next to the grasshoppers. "Snakes and ladders!" yelled the head of the fire department. "We are finished now. It's a giant scorpula!" "It's worse than that," cried the chief of police. "It's a vermiculous nid. Oh, just look at its vermiculous, gruesome face." "Is that the kind that eats fully grown men for breakfast?" the head of the fire department asked, going white as a sheet. "I'm afraid it is," the chief of police answered. "Oh, please, why doesn't someone help us to get down from here?" No. Oh, wrong person. "Oh, please, why doesn't someone help us to get down from here?" Miss Spider called out. "It's making me giddy." "This could be a trick," said the head of the fire department. "Don't anyone make a move until I say." "They probably got space guns," muttered the chief of police. "We've got to do something," the head of the fire department announced grimly. maybe more like this if he's saying it grimly. But we've got to do something. The head of the fire department announced grimly. About 5 million people are standing down there on the streets watching us. Yeah, and you look pretty foolish. Then why don't you put up a ladder? The chief of police asked him. I'll stand at the bottom and hold it steady for you while you go up and see what's happening. Thanks very much, snapped the head of the fire department. Soon there were no less than 7 large fantastic faces peering down over the side of the peach. The centipedes, the old green grasshoppers, Miss Spiders, the earthworms, the ladybirds, the silkworms, and the glowworms. And a sort of panic was beginning to break out among the firemen and the policemen on the rooftop. Then all at once the panic stopped, and a great gasp of astonishment went all around. For now, a small boy was seen to be standing up there besides the other creatures. His hair was blowing in the wind, and he was laughing and waving and calling out, "Hello, everybody, hello!" And for a few moments, the men below just stood and stared and gasped. They simply couldn't believe their eyes. "Bless my soul!" cried the head of the fire department, going red in the face. "It really is a little boy, isn't it?" "Don't be frightened of us, please," James called out. "We are so glad to be here." "What about those others beside you?" shouted the chief of police. "Are any of them dangerous?" "Of course they're not dangerous," James answered. "They're the nicest creatures in the world. Allow me to introduce them to you one by one, and I'm sure you will believe me." So there's some singing here, so I'm going to just pause and get something to drink, and I'll finish the singing. But it's going to be in James's voice, not the centipedes, in the next reading.